want to empower them, not to say like, oh, we don't need men in our life, but it's to say like we can stand on our own 2 feet, and we have that independence. We can do everything they can, and we can really grow our own business and be successful and not be dependent on them. And I think that's something that I learned from my mother. Like, my parents got divorced when I was like 12 years old. We lived in Botswana, which is a country just by South Africa. And my dad moved back to Scotland. So my mom was very much doing everything by herself with 4 kids. And yeah, I learned so much of that independence from her.
Such respect. That's amazing.
And it's like, it's just empowerment to empower. It's, like, I know I've gone down the female route, but it's also just empowering anyone to give them the confidence that they can start a business, and they can actually have the life that they want.
Go for your life. Exactly. People can go for their life. Yeah.
So many people don't believe that they can have the dream business or the whatever it is, because I don't think that's something that you're taught in school. You're not taught that.
And I think we just grow up with such, I'm quite fearless, but I can see it in everyone's, like, people have this fear, and it's like ingrained in them. And people just say like, no, you need the job, and you need exactly what you said, you need to be married, you need to have children, you need to have a house, you need to have a car. Like, it's just all this stuff.
Why? It's like that societal pressure to do that. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, so my daughter was asked at school, what do you want to be when you grow up? So she lists like 5 different things. And I was like, that's my goal. You can be anything you want, and you can be all of them. I'm not saying you're going to be good at all of them, but you can be. These days, it's not like we go to university, we get our job, we're done. No, things change. And how many people like, okay, I'm a this for so many years, and then we change, or, I love that about life, like how it's changed.
And besides your mother, who sounds awesome, by the way, hello, Mom, you are amazing. Do you feel like, do you have any other female role models on this like female empowerment journey?
I think my mom has probably been the biggest. And and I never been like a celebrity worshiper at all. I'm just not interested. So for me, it's more like seeing other female entrepreneurs in the same kind of, not necessarily what I'm doing, but in the online space, and like, oh my gosh, look at what they are creating and the kind of lifestyles that these people are creating for themselves. I think there's just so many people out there to admire.
Yeah, because I feel that you are, in a way, like, I felt that this I think maybe you did that last year or something, but you made this kind of photo, like a friend with all the other photos, and like I was in it as well. And I remember just kind of thinking, you're also such a space holder, you know what I mean? Like, you've created this like, and I really liked that, because I was like, I'm already quite proud of what I'm doing, because whatever other people think or whatever people judge me for, like, I will just do what I want to do, period. Like, I don't care what you think about it. I need to do this. I'm going to do this. But then to be in this sort of framework of all these other amazing women, and then you also listed them and what they were doing, I was like, so proud to be part of this. And I didn't even realize I was part of something, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm part of her, like, sort of female network of the women that you work for, or that you designed for. And it really made me feel good, and very proud.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Yeah, it was great. It was really
amazing.
Because I think it is, because I still think we are not equal, and I still think that there's still in the same jobs women getting less pay, and it just bothers me. I'm like, it's 2021, like, what?
Surely by now, like, surely come on,
like, our moms, our grandmoms, and our great grandmas, they fought so much for this, like, it's just, I don't know, I
always remember being in a job in England, and just, I remember saying to my aunt, actually, just saying to her, like, I feel like I've got no purpose in this job. I'm not changing anyone's life. I worked in insurance. I mean, it's like that, give me your money in case you have an accident, incidental or something, like it was. And I mean, like, I don't know, think about it. When you purchasing insurance, you're not like, yay, let's purchase insurance. It's fun. It was never like a positive thing. It was always like living in a negative space. I don't know. I've obviously I have since learned a lot. And whenever I see someone who's named their business like with a negative word, I'm like, don't do that. Name it something with more positive. Anyway, so I remember saying to her, I feel like I've got no purpose. I'm not changing anyone's life. I'm not doing anything to like help someone. And she was like, yeah, you are. You're giving them insurance in case something happens. And I'm like, no, come now. That's not changing someone's life in a positive way. So when I started my business, that was like, how can I make my difference with the skills that I know and that I love and that I'm passionate about? Yeah. So that's what I try. And I think with creating my course, that's the thing, is to show people that people think it's so difficult to create a website. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like this, if you follow step by step, you can really do it yourself. And I know when you start your business, you've got limited resources. You can't outsource it to a web designer. So this is the next
what a wonderful thing. So are you doing that? Are you doing it at the moment then, Nicola? Or
so it's a live 6-week course. Well, it's pre-recorded tutorial guides, but it's a container for 6 weeks. And there's a Facebook group for us to discuss things. And every Monday we've got a new module. There's 9 modules in total. And it really goes into, preparing your website, gathering together the content, which is what everybody struggles with. I can really
see you do this. This is awesome.
Yes. And then it's all the tutorial guides, which you know how I do my tutorial guides.
They're great.
All like that. And
they're great.
Yeah, like it's been amazing so far, and I've loved it, and I just want to really get it out there next year. And the next step is then to be teaching other web designers how to create websites and become web designers.
And do you feel like, was there something specifically happening in your life that you were like, oh, I want to be the teacher now, or I want to start teaching? How did this idea come about?
It came about because I always do the tutorial guides for my clients, and I love them. I love that part of the whole process. I love them too.
Like, I love them too, because sometimes I'm like, what was it again? And then I go back and I'm like, and then you go back Nicola. I think your daughters were in the background or something. Or
were they?
Really,
okay.
Yeah, it's really sweet. I'm just like, oh, Nicola. So cool.
So I mean, and I'd been doing it for years, and then I'd had so many clients say to me, oh, you're so good at the tutorials. Do you have a course? And then I'm like, no, you have a course. And I'm like, oh, it's natural progression. Yes, I'd love to do a course. So I do hope that, post-pandemic, when things calm down, I can do indoor. I mean,
IRL.
That would be
IRL.
Yes, in real life.
IRL workshops.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I would like to do that. That would be amazing, because it's more hands-on. You get your questions answered there, and then But I think the most important part of the course is the beginning, people writing the copy, gathering together the content. What exactly do I need on my website? That's the tech part, you just follow tutorials step by step. It's that coming up with, what do I need on my website? Why do I need a website?
Because I think also, like from my own personal experience, a lot of times you want too much information, but you want to say it all, especially like, with my website, it was very much like, but I do foods, and I do yoga, and I do activism, and it's like, and you want to say so much that I've really learned to cut it down. But it's difficult.
Condense it.
What do you say?
I think
that's great.
You've got to say whatever's going to get you to your business goals, or get you to that end destination of, okay, what is it exactly that I want my website as a resource to do for my business and to help me get to those business goals? Okay, that's it. And then always bring it back to, what are my business goals? Is this page even relevant? Is it going to, help me or anything, or help me get to those goals? No, it's not. Ditch it. It doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
And people just think we need page after page after page after page. And I'm like, cut it down.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you don't need all that.
Or you get the opposite, where it's like, make me a website. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you going to give me? Nothing. I thought if I asked you to make a website, you make it for me.
Make it up. Make it all up. Make me a website and make me alive. Give me alive. Like
alive.
I
think an important part is also knowing your business. When you really, really know your business, it's easy to create a website, because you know your business inside and out. You know who you serve, you know what it is you want to get to, you know the services you offer, etc. So easy. But I think that's the same when it comes to Instagram. When you know your business, you know what you want to achieve, you know who you're doing it for. It's like, the content creation process like sort of becomes easier.
I think it's good to it's good to have a sort of design, or like sort of a mind map, kind of like a roadmap for yourself before you. I mean, I do that all the time. Even when I want to do website updates, it's like, okay, but where should I, what is evolved, you know, and what should change,
what is the plan, what's the direction.
Yeah, exactly. And have you so you've been kind of doing it, being, you know, having your own business for about 7 years, is that what you said?
Yeah.
And how old are your daughters?
My eldest has just turned 6 and the other one just turned 2.
Oh
yeah.
And so, because that's another thing that I was wondering, how is it to combine motherhood and your own business? Probably it's not
hard. It's a challenge. Let me say it's a challenge. It's not hard. It's a challenge. And, you know, if I didn't have kids, I'd probably just work all the time because I love what I do. But having children has made me step back and realize that, you know, my kids are in my life forever. And they grow so fast. Like people say it all the time, they grow up so fast, but you don't believe it until you have your own kids. I feel like my youngest was just born yesterday, but she's now 2. It's like so weird. And I think it may be because of the pandemic, like, you know, that time is kind of been warped in the last 2 years.
So weird, right?
It's a weird kind of anymore. Last year was short and this year has been long. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
20 didn't exist. It was all weird.
It was all weird. And I think kids has just made me slow down a lot more and prioritize a lot. And the most amazing thing is when you have kids is you can get way more work done in a shorter period of time. Like you're just laser focused because, you know, I've got 4 hours and I got to get that stuff done.
Yeah.
Because then the kids come home and then
it all goes to shit then.
It does. It really does. And
that's really good. That's a really good thing also, actually, right? Like to have that kind of,
And then my husband also works away. So this year was challenging, more challenging just because he was away for like 3 months at a time. So it was, you know, solo parenting. He told me it's solo parenting, not single parenting. And just looking after the kids by myself and then trying to run a business and then trying to get them ready for school and doing all of this. And it can be overwhelming, but that's where like systems and organization comes into play. And then just realizing you just can't do it all. You can't.
But it's also really beautiful what you're saying about that they also get you to slow down. And they also, I mean, it's actually really healthy also how you're explaining it, because it's like you probably would be a workaholic if it wasn't for your kids.
For sure, absolutely. And that was also my reason for coming off Instagram for December. I'm like, it's school holidays, you know, just
want to be with your
kids. I scroll on Instagram mindlessly often. I mean, as soon as I get onto Reels, that's me gone for the evening. Like it will be like 2 hours and I'm done for Reels. I love it.
Because the dial-up is on and
the dial-up's on. I'm in there, you know. That's my 11-year-old self loving it. There
she is again. There she is.
She's So just coming off that, I feel like I'm just more present, more focused. Instead of being on Instagram, I'm reading a book, but then even though they're with me, it's like reading a book is very different to being like in that trance. It's like a trance of being on on Instagram.
Absolutely.
And then you like suddenly look up and you go like, it's not the time that's gone, it's just like your brain is like fried. It's completely, and I'm just so much more